Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, and I've been playing a ton of games recently, lots of reviews over the Christmas periods, and I've also been playing a ton of indie games as part of these review videos. So I've done this indie showcase sort of video focusing on 5 different indie games I've been playing recently across Xbox and PC. So let's take a look at them and see what I thought. So, first up on my list is Gabrielle's Worlds The Adventure, the Xbox edition. Now, this is a little sort of 2D platforming adventure game, and it's not too bad at all. Like I say, it's published by My Night Sun Games. It was released in November 2022. It's usually priced at £4.59, but for the next week it's available at £3.21. So it's a low price game. It's a very easy 2000 gamer score as well, so you can play through it, grab 2000 gamer score just by basically finishing the game. There are a couple of things you have to collect, but other than that, like I say, it's a very straightforward completion. Now the game sees you playing as Gabriel, and he's a kid who sort of loves cereals, and he likes to play video games and stuff like that. And basically, loads of children are disappearing around the world, and strange creatures are taking over the cities. So he sets off on an adventure to discover what's happening, basically, to these children. Now, this is a sort of fast-paced platforming game, and it's full of platforming sections, it's full of boss fights, and it's not bad. It doesn't look great, like I say, it is a very crude sort of graphical style. The gameplay is very simple. You basically just jump in and it's all about getting to the end of the level. You collect bowls of cereal and you collect extra lives and stuff like that. There's secret passages to find, there's sort of keys to collect. Across the different levels, there are puzzles you have to complete to also unlock extra collectibles and stuff like that. And then there's the boss fights, which is sort of your standard sort of boss fight affairs in platforming games. A bit easy in my opinion, but like I say, it's a fun little game and it's got easy achievements. There is one level where you're on a platforming section. It doesn't really tell you how to use it, and you've basically got to use the D-pad to make it move. I had to end up Googling it because I wasn't 100% sure how to get it working. But, hey, it does work, and it's not the worst game. It is quite fun. Lots of sort of precision, sort of platforming sections as well, which make it a little tricky at times. Okay, next up is Temple of Horror by Epixa Games. It was released in October 2022, and it's a game where you play basically someone trying to escape this sort of like hell-like environment. You've got to avoid sort of monsters, avoid traps, and just basically make your way out of the temple. So you have to sort of dodge all of the traps, complete all these puzzles and stuff like that. It's different compared to some of Epixa Games' other recent releases. A lot of them are very sort of just meander around, fly around, collectible sort of events. Whereas this one, it's not bad, it's not amazing. It's got a nice atmosphere, soundtrack, it looks very sort of spooky. I wouldn't say it's a scary game. There's no sort of like jump frights or anything like that that would make you sort of go, oh, like a horror game would. But it's got a cool atmosphere, a cool sort of simple premise of you basically trying to escape, and all you're doing is sort of trying to rescue these lost souls and not be killed by all these monsters, basically. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's another one of those games that's not that hard to get the 1000 gamer score on. It's priced at £8.39, and it's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, and it also has Xbox One X enhancements including 4K, HDR10 and 120 FPS, so it runs pretty well. It's not the most exciting of games, but like I say, if you want a sort of atmospheric sort of try not to die style horror game as you're walking around avoiding enemies and stuff like that, sneaking about. This one isn't too bad at all. Okay, next up is Backpack Twins. This was released in November 2022, published by Amata KK, and in this game it's sort of a hardcore sort of platform puzzle game where you have to switch between a pair of twins, at times sort of controlling each of them separately, but obviously having to watch out for both of them at the same time. So you sort of like on platforms, you've got to jump with one, then you've got to switch to the other and jump to make sure they don't die. It's frustratingly difficult, but it handles really well, it plays really well, and it's super satisfying when you actually do get to the end of something and you're like, oh my god, I survived it. So graphically, it's nothing amazing. It's a very sort of old school looking game you would expect to sort of see on like a SNES or a NES or a Mega Drive or something like that. But it's very fun to play. It's full of gruesome deaths, and it just sort of sees you sort of avoiding tons of puzzles by sort of like jumping, diving, like underneath them, like ducking, swapping between your characters and stuff like that. And it's basically timing your movements precisely to make sure they both survive and you get sort of to the end of each of the levels. The game also features collectibles that you're able to get. They are quite difficult to collect. You can easily sort of find them, but getting them is not the most easy, I must admit. And the game also, which is a nice little inclusion, it includes left and right-handed gamepad layouts for accessibility. So no matter what hand you sort of play with, that's ironic, you know what I mean. It doesn't matter which one you use, there's a good layout for you no matter what, which more companies should add to their games really. But expect to die a ton of times, expect to just keep replaying it, but you'll get to the end and you're going to have a good time. The sort of switch mechanic, it reminds me of another game that I can't remember the name of, but it's done so much better in this game. So definitely check it out. It's available on Xbox, priced at £9.99. Okay, next up is Primal Light, and I absolutely loved this game. It looks so good. So this is a sort of action hack and slash platformer in the vein of sort of classic 16-bit era games. It has an absolute look of a Mega Drive classic. Like I say, it's got the bright, vibrant colours and the just sort of the character models and stuff that you would expect to see in like a Mega Drive game back in the day, and I am all for it. So in this game you play as Krog, who's this like mysterious blue creature, and he basically has to sort of traverse a variety of levels, fighting monsters, avoiding traps, climbing up ladders, hitting levers, taking on bosses and stuff like that. And you basically have to work your way to the end. Now there's 10 levels to work your way through. This is a challenging game. It definitely feels like it's an old school game. Like I say, it's hard to make, you have to keep replaying and stuff like that. But across those 10 levels there are 10 different bosses, all in arcade style combat, basically designed like classic 16-bit games. It's got, like I say, a fantastic art style, great soundtrack, it plays amazingly, it just looks fantastic with its pixel art. Like I said, this is my highlight of all the games I've played. Like I say, so far, like I say, I've enjoyed all the games I've played in this video, but this one is the standout for me just because it just looks amazing. It's such a cool game. And there are like hidden paths to sort of find, like alternate paths. There's collectibles, and you're able to unlock upgrades and passive abilities and stuff like that, as well as new acrobatic abilities which allow you to get past different obstacles and fight different enemies. There's such a cool variety in the enemy design and the boss sort of styles and their like different fights. It's fantastic. Like I said, I can't recommend this enough. You should go out and play it straight away. Now it's priced at $11.99 and it was released in November 2022. published by No Gravity Games. Honestly, it's fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. Such an awesome little platformer that will have you pulling your hair out, but you'll also really, really enjoy it at the same time. Definitely feels like sort of SNES and Mega Drive games I used to play as a kid when they were frustratingly difficult, but you'd keep going back and keep going back to them. Okay, and finally, the last game I have been playing for this video is Out There Oceans of Time. Now, this came out in May 2022, and honestly, when I played it at launch, it wasn't that great, but it's had plenty of updates since then, and it had its sort of big Redshift update, which has sort of made it the definitive version. So I've gone back and had a little play and had a try, and it was developed by Miklos Studio, which did a game called Out There, and this is sort of like a sequely spin-off to it, like a successor to it. So it basically blends resource management and interactive fiction for a space survival epic where death is one wrong decision away. Now, it's not a bad game, this, like I say, it has promise. It's not perfect, but honestly, the update has added a load of new stuff. And the actual game narrative itself was written by Fiber Tiger, and the dialogue was by Christos Gage, who did Daredevil for Netflix in 2015. He helped with Spider-Man for Insomniac. And it looks absolutely fantastic. Like I say, it's got interactive like cutscenes which look amazing. You basically can do a whole host of things in it. You basically navigate an expansive cosmos, and it's always different every time you play. So you get a unique sort of procedurally generated sort of experience every time you play. You have to collect resources and sort of keep your ship running, stuff like that. You can recruit a variety of alien life forms and build up a team, sort of to manage every sort of aspect and stuff like that. And I didn't think the story was good, but because it's so random, the gameplay, you don't get enough of it. So you're basically exploring this galaxy, and you're searching for this big bad villain, basically, who's set on dominating the civilizations of the galaxy. But because it's sort of randomised every time, it's not the sort of main focus, unfortunately. Now, they have added this update as well, so you get that included with the game. You don't have to pay any extra for it or anything like that, and that includes a new oxygen management system for Rocky Planet expeditions, new class skills, new consumable items, new maps for all expedition types, new ways to explore maps through tunnels, ancient portals, and unstable structures, and it's got an overall difficulty balancing. So there's a lot more sort of content to the game. There's a lot more sort of stuff included, and it does feel a lot better. It's not perfect, and it won't be for everyone, but like I say, compared to when I first played it, it was much improved. So I highly recommend checking it out if this is your type of game. Maybe watch some gameplay videos, like extended gameplay videos, see if this is the type of content you like to play. The game itself is priced at $19.99, and it is only single player, so that may put some people off. But like I say, look into it, watch some sort of extended gameplay footage, because the gameplay, it may be for you or it may really not be, and it's hard to say. Like I wasn't super keen on it. I don't think it was terrible, but it just wasn't for me, unfortunately. So there you have it. They are the 5 indie games I've been playing recently over my sort of Christmas break. What did you think of them? Like I say, I really loved Primal Light, and I was quite happy to get an easy 2000 gamer score with Gabriel's Adventure. Have you played any of them? Are there any you want to play? Let me know in the comments below. Give me some suggestions for future games, and we'll see you very soon for more gaming content, everyone. Bye for now.